You and your friends decide to hang out. You go out to eat. You laugh. You joke around. You play along like everything is fine. You smile at jokes that do not even feel funny. You act excited when in reality you're tired. You say I'm good because it's easier than explaining why you're not. And for a few hours it works. Nobody notices. Nobody questions it. Nobody knows that the version that's sitting at the table is not the full version of you. It's a performance version. The version that knows how to smile at the right time. That knows how to laugh when everyone else is laughing. That version that knows how to act normal even when something inside feels off. But when you get home, you close that door, you sit down on your bed, and then the smile disappears. You can finally stop laughing at jokes that weren't funny. You can finally stop pretending you are in a good mood. You can finally stop acting like everything is okay. And then the silence gets loud. No music, no friends, no conversation, no distraction, just you. All the problems you have been trying to ignore starts eating away at your mind. That is when you start to realize something. You were not okay. You were just pretending really well. Pretending exhausts you. Pretending you are okay takes more energy than people realize. Because you are not just dealing with your problems, you're trying to hide them. You are controlling your face, you're controlling your voice, how much you say, how much you let people see. Someone asks, "Are you good?" And immediately your brain starts working. Should I be honest? Would they understand? Would this make things awkward? Would I ruin the mood? Would they think I'm being dramatic? So instead of saying what you actually feel, you just say, "I'm fine. I'm just tired. It's nothing. I'll be okay." And maybe you will be okay. But that does not mean you have to keep pretending right now. Because pretending is heavy. It's like carrying a backpack full of bricks and telling everyone, no, it's fine. It's not heavy at all. But in reality, it is heavy. The longer you carry it, the more tired you become. The worst part is that sometimes people do believe you. They believe the smile. They believe the laugh. They believe the "I'm good" answer. They believe the version of you that looks fine. But deep down, you know the truth. You are not fine. You're just tired of explaining. After graduating college, I could not get a job with my degree. And honestly, that messed with me. I spent almost a whole year at home helping with chores at my parents' business, trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do next. And during that time, I felt stuck. I felt like I had done everything I was supposed to do. I went to school, I got the degree. I tried to apply myself, but nothing was working out the way I thought it would. And on top of that, I felt pressure from the people around me. The pressure to get my life together, the pressure to get married, pressure to become someone who's successful already. And when you keep hearing things like that, it starts to mess with how you see yourself. I started to lose confidence. I started believing maybe I really was a failure. And that's a really scary place to be because once you start believing that about yourself, every little thing starts to feel like a proof to the way you think. Every rejection feels personal. Every failed application felt like a confirmation. Every com- conversation about your future feels like a reminder that you are behind. But whenever my friends asked me if I was okay, I would tell them I was fine. I would act like I was doing alright, but in reality, I was not. I wanted the help. I wanted someone to take notice. I want someone just to ask a little deeper. I wanted someone to tell me I was not a failure. But at the same time, I was scared to say anything. I was scared they would laugh at me. I didn't want them to judge me. I was scared that they wouldn't not understand. I was scared that if I admitted how bad I felt, people would look at me differently. So I pretended. And that's the hard part. Sometimes you're not pretending because you want to lie. Sometimes you're pretending because being honest feels more dangerous than staying quiet. A lot of people think holding everything in is a strength. They think being strong means never complaining, never crying, never asking for help, never letting people see when something hurts. But sometimes what we call being strong is really just being silent. And silence can become dangerous when it becomes your only way of coping. Because the problem does not go away just because you do not talk about it. It sits there. It follows you to work, follows you to home, follows you into conversations. It follows you when you are trying to sleep. You can distract yourself for a while. You can scroll, you can play games, you can watch videos, you can go out with friends. You can keep yourself busy, but eventually the noise stops. And when everything gets quiet again, whatever you were avoiding is still there, waiting. And that's the part people do not always understand. You're not pretending because you enjoy hiding. You're pretending because sometimes being honest feels too hard. You do not know how to explain it. You do not want to bother anyone. You don't want people to look at you differently. You do not want to be the reason the mood changes. So you keep it inside, but holding it in does not make it any lighter. It just makes you carrying it alone. You are not a burden for having problems. One reason people pretend that they are okay is because they don't want to bother anyone. They think to themselves, my problems are not that serious. Other people may have it worse. I do not want to bring down the mood. I don't want people to worry, and I should be able to handle this myself. And I get that. Nobody wants to feel like a burden. Nobody wants to feel like they're the person always bringing problems into the room. But needing support does not make you a burden. Being honest does not make you annoying. Having a bad day does not make you weak. You are allowed to struggle without comparing your pain to everyone else's pain. Because pain is not a competition. Someone else having it worse does not mean what you feel does not matter. You can be grateful and still be tired. You can still have good things in your life and still feel overwhelmed. You can smile during the day and still feel empty at night. Both things can be true. And if somebody truly cares about you, they would rather know you are struggling than watch you disappear behind a fake smile. Stop deciding for other people. Sometimes we do not open up because we already assume how people react. We assume they will not care, they're too busy, they'll judge us. We assume they will think we are just being dramatic. So instead of giving them a chance to care, we decide for them. We tell ourselves, they do not want to hear this. They probably have their own problems. They will not understand anyway. I should just keep this to myself. And sometimes, yes, you do have to be careful who you open up to. Not everyone is safe. Not everyone deserves access to your personal problems. But sometimes we push away the right people because we are too afraid they will react like the wrong people. And that's how isolation starts. You want help, but you don't ask for it. You want someone to notice, but you keep saying you're fine. You want to be understood, but you never let anyone hear what's actually going on. And then you start feeling alone. But sometimes you're not alone because nobody cares. Sometimes you're alone because you are too scared to give people the chance to care. And I'm not saying that to blame you. I'm saying that because I have felt that personally. There were times where I wanted someone to help me, but I was too afraid to say that out loud. So I stayed quiet. The problem did not go away. It got louder in my head. And that's why you have to be careful with pretending. Because at first, pretending feels like a protection. But after a while, it becomes a wall, keeping everything inside. And the same wall that keeps people from judging you. also keeps people from helping you. Not everyone needs to know, but someone should. Now, I'm not saying you have to tell everybody everything. You do not. You do not have to post your pain online. You do not have to explain yourself to every friend. You do not have to open up to the people who have not earned your trust. Some people are not safe people. Some will judge. Some people will make it about themselves. Some people will give terribly bad advice. Some people will not know what to say. They're not built to handle your issues. So, no, not everyone needs access to the deepest part of you, but someone should know. Just one person, a trusted friend, a family member, a mentor, a counselor, someone who can listen without making you feel stupid for being honest. Because when everything stays inside your head, your thoughts can start lying to you. They tell you nobody cares. They tell you you're weak. They tell you you're dramatic. And they tell you you should get over it. They tell you it will always feel like this. But sometimes saying it out loud breaks that power it has over you. Sometimes the problem does not instantly disappear, but it becomes less lonely. And sometimes that is the first step. Not fixing everything, not having the perfect answer, not just carrying it alone anymore. You do not have to explain everything perfectly. A lot of people avoid opening up because they think they need the perfect words. They think they need to explain exactly what is wrong. But sometimes you do not even fully understand what is wrong yourself. You just know you are tired. You just know something feels heavy. You just know you have not felt like yourself lately. And that is okay. You do not have to give the perfect speech. You can start small. You can say, I've not been feeling like myself lately. I am not ready to talk about everything, but I have been struggling. I don't really need advice right now. I just need someone to listen. I've been acting okay, but honestly, I am tired. That is enough. You don't have to explain your pain perfectly for it to be real. You don't have to make your feelings easy for people to understand before you are allowed to have them. Sometimes the most honest sentence is also the most simplest one. I am not okay right now. Not forever, not always, just right now. And that is enough to start. Stop waiting until you break. One of the biggest mistakes we make is waiting until everything falls apart before we admit something is wrong. We wait until we cannot sleep. We wait until we lose motivation. We wait until we stop replying. We wait until we snap at someone. Until we start feeling numb. Until we can't carry it anymore. But you do not have to wait until you break just to ask for help. You do not have to reach your lowest point before your feelings start to matter. You are allowed to say something early. You are allowed to ask for help while you are still standing. And that is probably the best time to do it. Because once you wait too long, everything becomes harder. Texting, explaining yourself, getting out of bed, even simple things starts feeling heavy, harder. So don't wait until you're drowning before you admit the water is getting high. Say something early, even if it feels awkward, even if your voice shakes, even if you don't know how the person will respond, even if all you can say is, hey, I have not been doing great lately. And that one sentence can open a door. People cannot help the version of you that is always fine. This is something I had to think about. Sometimes we want people to notice we are struggling, but at the same time, we do everything we can to hide it. We say we are fine, we act like we are fine, we laugh like we are fine, we reply like we are fine, and then we go home and wonder why nobody noticed. And I'm not saying that to blame anyone because I understand why people hide it.
It's scary, to be honest, but people cannot always read your mind. If you keep showing people the version that of you that has everything handled, some of them are going to believe that version. That is why you have to let someone see the truth. Not everyone, just someone. Because the people who care about you cannot support you if they do not know you need that support. Say what you actually need. When you open up, it helps to tell people what you need. Because a lot of people immediately go into advice mode. They start saying things like, you should just stop thinking about it. Just be positive. Other people have it worse. Just sleep earlier. Go outside. And maybe they do mean well, but sometimes it does not help. Sometimes you do not need someone to fix your life in 5 minutes. Because sometimes you just need someone to listen to. So it's okay to say that. You can say, I do not really need advice right now. I just need a place to vent. Can you just listen for a bit? I need help figuring out what to do. I need someone to check in on me this week. I don't know what I need yet, but I know I do not want to keep pretending. That last one is strong. I don't know what I need yet, but I know I do not want to keep pretending because sometimes that is the truth. You may not have the solution yet, but you know the fake smile is not working anymore. Bad advice still happens. And honestly, sometimes when you open up, people give the most basic advice ever. You tell someone you're mentally exhausted, and they say, have you tried sleeping earlier? And you're just like sitting there like, wow, thank you, I am cured. But I think that is why it helps to tell people what you actually need. Because not everyone knows how to respond, even if they care. Some people try to fix the problem too quickly. Some people get uncomfortable. Some people say the wrong things because they don't know what the right thing is. But that does not mean opening up was a mistake. It just means you may need to be clear. I do not need advice right now. I just need you to listen. I just needed to say this out loud. That can make the conversation so much easier because sometimes people are not trying to dismiss you. They just don't know how to sit with someone else's pain. There is a difference between being private and isolating yourself. There's nothing wrong with being private. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You do not have to tell people everything about your life. But being private and isolating yourself are not the same thing. Privacy is when you choose who gets access to your life. Isolation is when you convince yourself nobody should. Privacy can protect your peace while isolation traps you with your pain. And that's when you're not okay. Isolation can feel comfortable at first. You stop texting, you stop making plans, you stop explaining yourself, you stop answering honestly. You tell yourself, I just need space, and maybe you do, but be careful. Because sometimes I need space slowly turns into, I do not want anyone to see me like this. And then weeks goes by, then months goes by, and now you are not resting, you're just disappearing. So take space if you need it, but do not disappear from the people who care about you. Check on yourself honestly. Sometimes you have to ask yourself the questions you've been avoiding, not just, am I okay? Because if you are used to pretending, you might automatically say yes. Ask better questions. Am I actually okay, or am I just distracted? Am I resting, or am I avoiding? Do you feel better after being alone, or worse? When was the last time I was honest with someone? Am I pretending because I'm fine or because I don't want people to know I am not? Those questions matter because pretending can become a habit. You wake up, go to work, you smile, you joke around, you distract yourself, you go home, you feel everything again, you sleep, and then you repeat it. And eventually, you're not really living, you're just performing normal. You are still worth caring about. This is important. You are still worth caring about when you are not fun to be around. You're still worth caring about when you are quiet. You're still worth caring about when you do not have the energy to joke. You're still worth caring about when you are not the happy version of yourself. Because sometimes we think people only like us when we're useful, funny, positive, we're easy to deal with. So we hide the messy parts, we hide the sadness, we hide the stress, we hide the anxiety, we hide the loneliness. But real connection is not built on pretending everything is perfect. It's built on honesty. And no, you should not dump everything on everyone. But you should not convince yourself that nobody would care if they knew the truth. Somebody would. Somebody does. You just have to let them see more than the fake smile. So if you have been pretending you're okay, maybe this is your sign to stop. Not because everything will magically get better the second you talk about it, but because suffering in silence is not the answer. You do not have to tell everyone everything. You do not have to explain it perfectly. You do not have to fix your whole life overnight, but tell one person the truth. Even the truth is simple, like I have not been okay lately. That does not make you dramatic. That does not make you weak. That does not make you a burden. It makes you honest. And sometimes being honest is the first real breath you take after holding it in for too long. So stop fake smiling through everything. Stop convincing yourself your problems do not matter. Stop waiting until you completely break before you say something. Because you deserve to be helped before you fall apart. You deserve to be listened to before it becomes unbearable. You deserve to be honest without feeling like a burden. And you deserve people who care about the real you, not just a version of you that pretends to be okay.